Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Paper Girls Season 1. So this is on Amazon Prime, and my God, I've never been this blown away by a show in a pretty long while, maybe like a year or so, maybe two, maybe three, I just don't know. I haven't felt this way in a good long time. Let's just put it like that. Where a show literally like blew me out my shoes, knocked me off my socks, whatever that phrase is, you know what I'm saying? Like this is my favorite show of 2022 because I've been watching a lot of stinkers this year and I haven't really watched too many new shows, but a couple, you know what I'm saying? Mostly on Hulu and mostly on Disney Plus. And while some shows were fine and everything, my God, like seriously, this show, man, this show, this show reminds me of season 1 of the Umbrella Academy, except with no superpowers and God, no superpowers, no something else. Something else is missing. No superheroes and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it has like teenagers who time travel and stuff. And I remember I told myself, because I got Amazon Prime again for a while, and so I only got it for like a week or so, and so like. I remember telling myself, okay, I'm gonna get to watch The Boys season 3, and then A League of Their Own also came out. So okay, I'm gonna wait a while, you know what I'm saying, till A League of Their Own comes out. And every episode dropped in one day. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm finna go get it soon. But then I was on like social media and I saw something trending called Paper Girls. I'm like, what the world is that? I've never heard that before. So I clicked it. And so I watched the trailer and it was kind of uninteresting. I'm just kind of like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's weird. Like, I was digging the whole 1980s thing because I thought it was going to be like a coming of age type thing where girls become like paper girls and they go through like a journey, something like that. And they do. Like they do, but I wasn't expecting that. Then the trailer went to this weird thing with a purple sky, then they got transported through time, saw their older selves, and I'm just kind of like, okay, that's interesting, but I don't know. And then so I was online social media again, and then so like this one person's all like, before people keep saying this is like Stranger Things, like this came out from a comic book and everything, and it did apparently. I didn't even know this is based off a comic, and so. Then, like, I started reading, of course, the one-incher comments talking about, oh, this is woke, and oh, female agenda, and oh, strong women, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, oh, God, not them. Anything that comes out with a female, they just go crazy for no apparent reason. It's so weird. It makes no sense. Because there's always been female driven stuff, even back in like the 70s and the 60s. And it's just, they're so annoying from these little one-inchers and stuff, And it just gets on my stinking nerves. So at some point, I'm all like, okay, maybe I'll watch like, 3 shows, something like that, and I'll watch Paper Girls. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got Amazon Prime. Might as well watch what I can. It's based off a comic book, and I love comic book stuff. So heck, why not? And so like I watched, what was it? A League of Their Own first. And I was really uninterested in the first episode. Like, it's weird. I've only watched 2 episodes of A League of Their Own, a TV series. And then I'm like, okay, let me rewatch the movie. So I started watching about 20 minutes of the movie. And I'm like, you know what? I could get the feels in 20 minutes of the movie. And I came and get it in 2 episodes. That's about 80 minutes or so. The TV show isn't terrible. It's just bland. Like, it's very bland. But I'll get into that in another video. So then I watched Paper Girls and I was blown away. Then I watched The Boys season 3, first episode, and I was grossed out. That whole butt thing. Reminds me of that episode of South Park, Lenny Weeks or whatever it's called. So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch like 2 episodes of both episodes each in like one night. But then after I watched the second episode of Paper Girls, after being blown away by the first, I'm like, nah, I gotta binge this crap. So I watched as many episodes as I could that night, and I finished the rest like tonight and everything, the last 2. And I was like, man, I was not expecting to get hit with so much intrigue, so much suspense, so much drama, so much emotion. This is truly a coming of age type thing. But there are 2 things in here that's kind of weird, that just kind of took me out. I'm just like, where in the world this come from? But then again, it is based off a comic book. Now, one of these things is from the comic, one is not. And they should just let both out, in my opinion. But I get it. They wanted to throw that one weird thing in because of the comic. But then when I started researching the comic after I watched the series, I wanted to go into this thing fresh, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm kind of understanding it. And I'm just like, you made the conscious decision to leave out all the crazy comic booky stuff, but then you decide just to throw it in, to throw a nod to the comic. Like, why would you do that, man? It just makes it weird. And so, like, yeah, I was not expecting. Now, if this would have been made 15, 20 years ago or beyond that, yeah, it would have been like all guys in the show and stuff. And it's cool to see this be an all-female thing, because why can't they do something like this? Why can't they have a work as paper trail type thing, or paper girl, whatever? Why can't they travel through time? Why can't they meet their future selves? Why can't the world about to be destroyed and all this other stuff, and the government agency tracking them down and trying to blow them up and all this other stuff and kill them? Like, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, they should have fun too. You know what I'm saying? And the cast is great, man. Like, it is great. Here's the thing. Now, there are a bunch of 15, 16-year-old actresses who do this, right? But they play 12-year-old girls. Now, they don't really look 12, but you know what I'm saying. This is embarrassing. They can act better than anybody on Riverdale. They can act better than the majority of stars that's on any CW show. That's embarrassing. And it's like they're really good at what they do. One of them acting kind of lags just a tiny bit, but it's like half and half. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's like not so great, because it needs more like energy. But other than that, she's a cool character and everything, and I can't wait to see what more stuff she does. But it's embarrassing how all these people can act better than all these adults on the CW. Now, I read somewhere online that this did get picked up for a second season, and the second season has been filming since like June of this year. But there's no real confirmation that I can find online that this got renewed or not. Hopefully it did, because 1, this show is awesome, and 2, it left off on a cliffhanger. I wish to God that this comes out on DVD. I was so buy this thing. Like, seriously. And you know what's really crazy? Brad Pitt is the executive producer of this show. Like, I've been wondering what that man has been doing since he's been having marital troubles and everything with Angelina Jolie. But apparently he's been making stuff behind the camera and starring in a couple of stuff in front of the camera. So, like I said before, this is based off a comic book. It was created in 2015 and it stopped in 2019 with 30 issues. And Brian K. Vaughan, he's the one who wrote this, and Cliff Chine, that's how you say his last name. He's the one who like drew it and stuff. And I think Cliff might also work on the show, I believe. And so, like, it does differ from like the comic and everything. Like, it really, 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 really does. Like, when I was reading this thing on Wikipedia about what the comic book was on, I'm like, oh wow, they really changed a lot and everything. But they did keep some stuff consistent, so it's not complete change and everything. And this was a cool adaptation. You know, most adaptations, they aren't exactly like their source material, and this was really cool and stuff. And so basically, what this is about, it's a group of four girls who decide to like become like paper girls and have like a route, right? Now the show starts off with Ali Wong in the beginning of the show. Now we don't know who she is, but I know who she is from the trailer and stuff. And so she is like just looking out the window, looking scared and stuff. Then it goes to 1988 because Ali Wong's character was in 2019. The reason why it's 2019 and not 2022, this has been cooked up since the comic book has ended. And Amazon has been wanting to make this since 2019, and they've been like, you know, doing like the pre-production stuff. And then they finally started casting people around like last year or a year and a half or so. And so we're in 1988, right? And we see this one girl. Now, this girl is Erin. She's a Chinese American girl, and she lives at home with her mother and her sister. Her mother does not speak English and has a hard time. Her father is dead, and her mom has pretty much like can't really kind of like had like a nervous breakdown ever since the dad died, you know. So Erin is new in town, and she has taken up a paper route and everything. And she's having a bit of a difficult time. Her mom doesn't want her to do it, but she wants to do it anyway. And so she's only 12 years old, and she's going like at 5 in the morning, and it's nighttime. And because I don't know why it's dark at 5 in the morning, because it's like summer. Anyway, and so like, no, wait, I don't think it's summer. No, 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 no. School's about to start soon, because in 1988, okay, never mind. So yeah, so it's dark. And so, like, you know, she's having a hard time and she gives the paper to the wrong house. Well, when she goes to retrieve it, a man comes out, a very hateful, racist man. And so, like, he's talking about, oh, you know, your people took over the what's that place called? Not the land mill, but the factory working place where they work at and stuff, and blah blah blah. And she tells him, you know, I'm a different type of Asian. Like he was talking about like a Asian person from like another country other than China, and she lets him know that look, she's Chinese and not whatever race that was in like the 80s and stuff. Because you know, Asian people have been coming over here for many of years, and Chinese people have been here since like the 1800s and stuff. And so, like, I'm not sure what he thought she was, probably Korean or Japanese or something like that. And so then another girl shows up, and her name is Tiffany. And she tries to give that dude like a paper, but he's all like, both of y'all get out, because you know he's racist. Well, Tiffany and she kind of like looks out for Erin a little bit, and you know tries to like you know befriend her and stuff, and they do become friends and they bond a little bit, because they both on like you know doing like the paper route, and she tells her you know like look, you gotta like learn these streets and da da da, and she gives her a walkie-talkie and tells her you know I've been saving up for a long time, and I finally you know I've been working like all summer or whatever, and I finally got like these walkie-talkies that cost about like $4 and something or $40. I can't remember which one. Probably four, because this is the 80s after all. And so she's really happy and she's really excited about like her walkie-talkie, right? And so she tells her, hey, let's meet up with the other girls. Well, they meet up with a girl named Mac. We see Mac. And Mac, she is trying to get her mom cigarettes, not trying to wake her up. Now her brother Dylan's being a butthead. So she joins the other girls on the paper trail. But paper route and come on paper trail, yeah, like they doing some detective work, paper route. But they have to meet up with their other friend KJ, and KJ's in a little bit of trouble. See, it is a couple of days after Halloween, and this is when the boys start acting like buttheads around town. And so they meet up, try to find out where she's at, and she's being cornered by some guys, and she has her hockey stick in hand, ready to fight these guys. Well, Mac, being the tough girl that she is, she gets some fireworks and shoot them at like, you know, the guys. KJ's able to escape and like they ride off, right? And so now Erin has befriended like, you know, these group of girls. Now, Aaron's very shy and a little timid and stuff like that. And so I'll get to the girls' personalities a little bit later. And so, but Mac is like the rude, mean, tough one. My God, this girl is a jerk. I've never seen somebody be so jerky before in my life in TV, but she takes the cake. And so, anyway, also, it's funny when I saw the trailer, I thought she was a dude because of the hairstyle and stuff. But anyways, so like Aaron is kind of like lagging behind because Mac is being a butthead and stuff like that, and I think what's her name, KJ is like, trailing behind with her and stuff because Mac is being like rude to KJ too. And so at some point in time when Aaron is resting, two guys bum rush her and steal the walkie-talkie. When the other two get back, Tiffany's pissed and all like, "Oh, my walkie-talkie! How can you let them steal it?" And Aaron's all like, "I'll pay for like another one." And so, um, Tiffany's all like, "I worked really hard to save up money, blah 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 blah." So Mac is all like, "Yo, we're gonna get these guys, right?" And so they overhear them on the walkie-talkie, and so somehow they're able to find out where they're at. And so when they do, the two guys are like in a silhouette. There's like a sheet covering them. We don't know what exactly they're doing, right? And so they shoot the fireworks and try to get the walkie-talkie back, right? But they're unable to. Then they take the mask off the guys, and turns out they're not teenage boys, they're grown men. And not only that, but they're talking a strange language. And so this freaks the girls out. And so when they think, okay, maybe they're from like another country, they're here to like invade, stuff like that. But when they go outside, they see something weird happen. Instead of the sun coming out and the sky being blue, the sky is now purplish pink. These girls are freaking out. They don't know why the sky is purplish pink. One of them think it could be like an alien invasion. So Mac is all like, well, my house or my place is not too far from here. Let's go there. So they go there, right? But nobody's there. So as they're in the home and everything, KJ is kind of like, have you noticed that like nobody was on the streets? Like it's early in the morning and there were no cars, no people, no nothing. And so one of them probably like, oh, they probably got freaked out because of the purple sky. Well, next thing you know, Matt comes in with a pistol, and she's all like, my brother taught me how to use this in case of emergencies. And all the other girls are like, put that gun down. And Aaron, no, Mac is all like, oh, it's not even loaded yet and everything. Well, KJ is struggling to get the gun from Mac, and it goes off. There was a bullet in the chamber. And so everybody's like freaked out. And Mac is all like, nobody got hit, did they? And then all of a sudden they look at Aaron, and Aaron is covered in blood on her stomach. The girls freak out. So the next thing you know, we get the point of view from that of Aaron. And she's dazing, she's going in and out of consciousness and everything. And her eyes are blinking. We see that Tiffany is driving, but Tiffany says she doesn't know how to drive that well, but she had a few lessons and stuff. So they're driving and they're driving, but then all of a sudden some weird freaky stuff starts to happen. This is where things get kind of jump on, and you really gotta pay attention because we're still at the point of view of Erin. Her eyes are blinking in and out, and then we start hearing a lot of commotion. It's the guys that stole the walkie-talkie. And then so a lot more crazier stuff happened, and then all of a sudden we hear so much commotion, and then now they're in like a building, a weird looking building, and the sky is getting more and more purple. And then all of a sudden they're in some kind of weird like device thing, and next thing you know, it crash lands. And when the girls get out, they're all like, were we flying in the air? Like, what the world was it? It was some kind of weird capsule device and everything, some type of weird vehicle. And so the guys get out, and the guys look weird. So when it comes to Erin, right, when Erin's in like the future, she's still dying, but then all of a sudden all the commotion is going on. I forgot to mention this part. She lifts up her shirt and there's all these bugs crawling around her wound, and she freaks out. These bugs are no ordinary bugs. They're mechanical bugs, and they're healing her wound. And she's completely healed now. And this is the same bugs that the one lady uses to resurrect one of the guys that they came with and ask, what happened to the device and stuff. They have these weird scars on their face and metal pieces, and when they talk like they're talking over a radio walkie-talkie. Their voices sound kind of like robotic and stuff. Like, what the world is going on? Well, I know what's going on because I saw the trailer. The trailer kind of gives too much away. And then, so all of a sudden, these people in white are shooting at them, but they're shooting laser blasts at them. The girls freak out. And the guy gives Tiffany a device and it's all like, run as far as you can. And then so the guys are like trying to kill like the soldier people, right? That's all dressed in white. But they have like regular handguns and other people have laser guns, right? And so one guy ends up getting shot dead. One of the strange guys, right? And then so next thing you know, the girls, they try to hide in the woods, but like one of the soldier men confronts them and he's all like, are you with like the watch or are you with the underground? And they're all like, what are you talking about? And so Tiffany's all like, this is what you're talking about, this device? So he draws his gun ready to shoot them, and KJ, she takes her hockey stick and beat him to death, and I mean to death and everything. And so she's shocked and she throws it down because she can't believe she killed somebody. So then they take off running, right? And they're all like, we have to get home. And then so Erin's all like, my home's like near here. So she goes to her house, she uses her key and she goes in the house. A woman comes down, an older Asian lady's talking about like, what are you doing in my house? Blah, blah, blah. And Erin's all like, you're in my house. What are you doing in my house? And blah, 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 stuff like that. And then so the girls go looking around the house and they see photos on the refrigerator door. And they're all like, Erin, you have to check this out. And when the lady and Erin both look, on the refrigerator door are pictures of Erin from when she's a kid to when she graduated from high school to that of an older woman. And they can't believe it. They time travel. And it ends like that. I'm like, what? So I had to watch the second episode after The Boys and stuff. And I just kept watching over and over and over. So the girls, they time travel to the year 2019. Now, here are some differences from that of like the television show. So like, actually, you know what? Before I get into the differences, let me get in some character profiles. So while the girls are in the future, they're trying to figure out what's going on, and older Erin is kind of just like freaking out, can't believe what's going on, right? And neither can younger Erin, but they decide they're gonna sleep there and figure out what's going on in the morning. So, she shows them what the laptop is and what the internet is and stuff like that. And so like, the girls, they start looking things up and they need a place where they can fix that device and everything. Well, as both Erins are talking to each other, young Erin starts to be very, very, very rude to her older self. See, this is the coming of age, and every girl is gonna get a reality check as to how they grew up, right? And so like, it turns out, so here's the thing about young Erin. Let's get into the little character profiles now. Young Erin wants to grow up and be president of the United States of America. And right now she's doing the paper route thing. And when she finds out about her older self, it turns out her older self is not working in the government. She's not the president. It turns out she works for like a law firm and everything, like an assistant. And it turns out that she still has anxiety. She's still timid and shy, and she has to take medication because she's too nervous and stuff like that. She has bad nerves. Things did not turn out the way she wanted to. And her mother is now dead. Her younger sister has now had a falling out with her, and they do not speak. Everything did not turn out the way Erin liked, and now she's taking it out on her older self. Now, The comic book difference is young Erin is shy and timid, but she carries a pocket knife with her everywhere she goes. This one does not in the show. When she meets her older self isn't working in a law firm, but still working for the newspaper company. And so younger Erin isn't as mean to older Erin, like she is in the show and stuff. And so, like, because of this now, young Erin wants nothing to do with her older self. And so at some point, Mac has decided to look up, like, her brother and stuff because she idolizes him and see what he's been up to. So she leaves in the middle of the night, right? Now, Tiffany looked herself up too. And it turns out Tiffany created an institute and stuff. So Mac leaves in the middle of the night. Let's get into Mac. Mac is a tomboy. She's very rude, very blunt, and a bit racist and stuff. She loves to smoke, and she's a very foul-mouthed girl who cusses like every 5 seconds and stuff. And she has like a boyish type hairstyle and a leather jacket she wears. And so, like, when she leaves, like, here's the thing, she mouths off to everybody. She don't care who you are and stuff. See, she grew up poor, and I think they live in like in a trailer and stuff. Her brother's the same way she is, and the father's just like a drunk, and so is her stepmother and stuff. And so she judges and looks down on everybody, because she had a hard upbringing and stuff. And one of the people she's rude to the most is KJ and everything. 'Cause KJ is rich. She doesn't like Tiffany that much because Tiffany's so smart, and she just doesn't like Erin that much because Erin's a goody goody two shoe, but she does feel sorry for shooting her by mistake. Now, in the comics, she does shoot her by mistake, but instead it is KJ's stepmother who has the gun, and KJ's trying to get it from her, and it discharges and hits Erin. So she tries to go back to her old home to see if it's still there, and it's been completely knocked down and stuff like that. So she's sad and upset, and so she just goes and she sits by herself, and then all of a sudden KJ comes out of nowhere. How KJ found her, I had no idea, but she assumed that, Mac might go back to her home. They have a bit of a heart to heart about how, like, AJ's probably like, my dad's probably dead now, and I don't know where my brother's at, and my home is gone, and blah, blah, blah. And then so KJ's trying to comfort her, but then Mac is just being her rude self, talking about, why would you care? Like, one, you're Jewish and you're rich and blah, blah, blah. And so she says something else that's kind of racist, but I forget what she says. And so at some point they go back to the house, but you can tell that Mac has a huge chip on her shoulder and stuff, right? And so whatchamacallem. So trying to think what happens after that. So at some point in time in the series, like, Erin is still complaining about her older self, and Mac is kind of like, at least you have like a job and you can afford to pay like your bills and and stuff like that. And because she said, like, most people don't have that. So because Mac knows what it's like to not have anything, and she doesn't like when people complain when they actually still have stuff, and she's trying to make Erin see like the brighter side, and it does work a bit. But anyways, Mac has decided she's gonna split after a huge argument with the girls, and she goes looking for her brother. And cause remember I said she looked her brother up on the computer, so she makes it to like a hospital he works at, and she tells him, hey, your sister and everything, that time travel and blah 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 blah. He doesn't believe her. He tells her the truth about her. He tells her, my sister died. She died when she was 16 years old, and she died from like brain cancer. And Mac can't believe it. She is dead. Like, she is deader than dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, she died in the 90s and stuff. And so he doesn't believe her, and he calls a social worker for her and stuff. Well, she's pissed and goes with the I can't talk, social worker, but she leaves behind her Walkman and her mixtape. It's the same Walkman her brother had when he was younger, and she borrowed that without his permission. When he looks at the Walkman and everything and the mixtape, he knows she might be telling the truth. And so he takes the glass that she was drinking from and get a DNA test. Now he believes her. He lies to the social worker and is all like, oh, that's my child out of wedlock, this and that. So when they talk, they bond and everything. And he tells her, what's been going on. He tells her when she died, he cleaned his life around. He started studying and he became a doctor so that, he can try to like help others and stuff. Their dad lives in like a trailer down in Florida and they no longer speak. Their stepmom is now dead and stuff. And so, like, as they're talking and bonding more, they even start to like goof around a little bit more. They start cussing each other out, shooting fireworks and stuff. And then, he tells her, I'll adopt you and everything, and you can go to school, to this boarding school and blah, 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 and stuff like that with his daughter. So this is going to be the hard part. He has to introduce her to his family. That's going to be hard because he is married. He just pretends like she's a cousin. And when she's there, she sees that her older niece is a spoiled brat and everything. The younger niece is a lot nicer. And the wife, her sister-in-law, is really nice too. But she gets upset at her brother. See, turns out she doesn't like the new him. She wants the foul mouth, cussy one, and rude and everything like that. And because when she was when they was eating and stuff, she was cussing like a sailor, and he took her away and talking about, you can't talk that way to my daughters and stuff. They're too young, and she didn't like that. So it's like she's glad he turned his life around, but she doesn't like the goody goody two shoes that he has become, because she just wants him to be the rude person that he's always was. Now let's get to the other people. So older Aaron takes them to like Best Buy and they try to get the device working. But when the guy at the front desk, who she has to flirt with, that's her ex and stuff, it short circuits the device because it's from the future and stuff, right? When he tries to charge it up. Now, Tiffany's all like, I don't trust older Aaron. She ain't never gonna be able to help us. Let's go to like, my older self. I know she'll help us and stuff. And so Tiffany gets really pissed at older Aaron, talking about, you ruined the device and now we can never get home and blah, blah, stuff like that. Now, Tiffany is the smart one. She's the overachiever. She wants to go to like a good college and stuff like that. She is a bit blunt and rude at times, especially when you think that she's not smart, and she lets you know it. Now, in the comic, she is not the smart one. She just plays video games and stuff. KJ is the smart one in the comics. And so at some point when they're going back, they have a huge falling out with older Aaron because they don't believe she can help them. So they just take off by themselves, right? And so she's all like, you know what? Screw y'all and everything. Well, older Aaron, she gets the device to work, right? And it pairs itself to her brain waves. And now every time she has a device near her and she looks at stuff, all she sees is computer screens and stuff like that. So she tries to find the girls. And so this leads us to Larry. Larry is an odd, strange man who lives by himself. He is part of an organization. And so I'll get into that a little bit later. And so, well, part of the underground, that's what I'll say for now. And he's talking to a friend of his that he's very close to. Well, his friend is spying on the soldiers in white. And then all of a sudden, she hears like a weird noise and he can no longer talk to her. So he goes to her place. But before he goes to her place, this is what he does. He gets a tape recorder. He says his name, where he's from, and his birthday. And he says how he works for the underground. And he says no matter what they erase from your memory, know that I'm telling you the truth. And he puts it in his freezer. Then he goes to the girl's house, right? The lady's house. And so she sees him and she's excited, like, oh, I've been waiting for you. He's all excited because he's afraid something bad happened to her. But she thinks he's the pizza delivery guy. He's like, no, we're like friends and I can prove it. He plays her a message that she recorded herself, talking about who she is and how she works for the underground. She does not believe it, and she is adamant about not believing it. Then all of a sudden, her mind gets wiped again out of like nowhere, and she's all like, "Oh, I'm happy to see you. Where's my food?" So no matter what, her mind constantly loops and constantly forgets stuff. So he just leaves. And then his pager goes off talking about weapon armed. It's the device that the girls had. So he's tracking it. And when he tracks it, he finds what's her name? Older Aaron, and she has found the girls. And so they're all like, like in the car together. Well, they're all headed to the hospital to find Darren or Dylan, or his name is, Mac's brother, because they saw on the computer that she was looking up for her brother. So he's already left from there. So when they go there, like, older Aaron gets out the car and she gets tased by Larry, and then he kidnaps her. So the girls chase behind him in the car. He has his house rigged with spike strips and stuff, so it flattens the tires. Then, with a gun in all their faces, he put them down in the basement. They're trying to find a way to escape, but older Aaron's kind of like freaking out. So then they all have a chat. He does some interrogation and he realizes they're displaced. They're time travelers and stuff. See, Larry is part of the underground for the STF. They're the ones trying to stop the Old Watch. That's the organization, the people in white trying to shoot people and stuff. He tells them the Old Watch want to preserve the timeline as it is. Any kind of inconsistency with it, they go back in time and they either erase people's minds or they kill them. They kill time travelers on sight because they don't want the timeline to be muffled and stuff. He tells them when the sky turns purple, that's two things. One, somebody's traveling through time, and two, not travel through time, but they're getting their mind erased. And he says what it does, it like covers the whole town and it wipes people's memories. They don't understand how their memory did not get wiped. It's called the ablution and stuff. And so like they know they have to find Mac and everything because they have to go back in their time. And they tell him what happened with the two guys they found who stole the walkie-talkie. Those guys are Hack and something with an N, I forget his name. And so those are his friends, and he's devastated to know that they died. And he tells them, you know what? We need to go to the year 1999 so we can go to like the battle, because he has a machine that's supposed to help in the battle and everything, and they need that machine. And the girls all like, no, just send us to 1988 and then send us back and then you can go to 1999. Well, older Aaron shows him the device and she tells him that she's paired up to it. He tells her, oh, that means you can operate the machine and you're the only person who can. So she doesn't want to do it, but she's forced to anyway. So he shows them some log entries from like a book he has where he's been tracking every timeline and stuff like that whenever somebody goes back in time. And so he agrees, all right, fine, I'll see you in 1988, and then me and older Aaron will go to 1999 and blah, 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 and fight the Old Watch. Now, here's the difference in the comics. The Old Watch is called the Old Timers. And just like in the show, that's what they do. They preserve the timeline. Now, the FTS, or whatever I said that is, the STF, they're called the teenagers in the comic. Yep, the teenagers. And what are they? Teenagers. They're not adults. And they talk with kind of weird future slang and everything like that. Basically, the STF and the Old Watch people, they're from the same timeline. And so for whatever reason, they're just in battle with each other. And so like the two guys, Hack and the other one, they're teenagers in the comic as well. So they gotta find Mac, right? So they can all go back through time and all this good stuff. Well, KJ is talking to like Aaron, and they're all like, you know what? We have to go we have to find Mac. So she goes on her own, right? And she goes and like look for Mac. And she stole the dude's motorcycle and stuff. And she's just riding it like a boss through town without a helmet and everything. And so here's the thing. Well, I can't get too much into KJ. I'll get more into KJ when they travel through time. So she goes to Mac's brother's house, talks to his wife. There's a problem. One of the soldiers in white is looking for her and looking for the rest of them. I think her name is Pyranus or something like that. She's the lady who played in the 100. So she, remember the dude KJ killed? That was her brother. And so she really wants KJ. So in 2019, she's tracking, she finds the hockey stick in the woods. She tracks it down to KJ's parents' house in 2019. And she murders KJ's parents out of revenge. And now she's looking for the girls. And she made her way to like do so much detective work. She made her way to Mac's brother's house and threatens, like, you know, the wife. But Mac, no, what's her name? KJ was able to find Mac at the restaurant and hightail it on out of there, right? And so they head back to like the farmhouse. Well, remember when I said that Aaron and her sister don't get along? Well, we find out why. Aaron's little sister wants to sell the house and everything. And they just had a huge falling out about where their lives went and all this other stuff. And mom's death. Basically, Aaron's younger sister wasn't there when the mom died and really wasn't there afterwards and stuff. This has upset older Aaron, and that's why they had a falling out. So younger Aaron spies on them when they talk because she just really wants to see her younger sister. And she tells older Aaron, look, try to find that sisterly bond that y'all used to have when y'all was little and fix things. Well, she sees them argue and everything. And she's still not thrilled about how her life has turned out. But then something happens. When she's sitting down, she stands up and she sees blood on the thing she was sitting on. Her period has come on for the first time. Oh boy, I'm gonna get into that later. Watch. I could not believe what I heard and saw. Oh, so anyways, the evil lady in white, she tracked them down to the farm. They have to hurry up and time travel. So they time travel, right? And so like, this is what they time travel in. A giant mechanized robot. Basically a Megazord, a transformer looking thing. And I'm just kind of like, what the, this is just weird. This takes me out of it now. But the machine, the Megazord type thing, the mech is literally a time travel machine that only older Aaron can use because she's paired to it because of that device. So she uses it. She goes in time travels to the year that he set the coordinates to, right? But there's a problem. When they get there, there's another robot. And so the other robot is the people inside it are trying to kill them, right? Well, Larry has decided he's gonna try to help the girls get out by sacrificing himself. So he shoots at the other mech robot and it literally laser blasts him into ashes. I kid you not, that thing, think of a phaser on Star Trek, disintegrated into ashes. So now all the girls are scared. The other mech is like scanning them, right? And so it's scanning like all the buildings and stuff like that. And so older Aaron's all like, you know what? I'm gonna buy y'all some time, and when I get inside the robot, y'all have to leave. Well, she goes back there and she fights the other robot thing, right? And it's a kind of okay battle. The CGI is a little wonky at times, but it's pretty good, you know what I'm saying? And so she's winning until she starts getting her butt kicked. And then so she decides, you know what? I'm just gonna hit the self-destruct button, and boom! Blows herself and the other mech up. She sacrificed herself. And the other girls are just like, So at some point in time before older Aaron like dies and stuff, the illusion happened again. And so the girls went inside a building when that happens, and their minds did not get wiped. Now I have a theory. The reason why they're not affected might be because they're inside a building. I don't know, but because we do see some people, I do see some people get erased later on, but they're all outside. Now it could be just because they're in the building. I don't know, or maybe there's something special about the girls that the show hasn't revealed yet. But anyway, they're trying to figure out, hey, how can we, where should we go, this and that. So they're trying to think, well, maybe they can stay at the school, but there's no electricity and stuff. But then KJ has an idea. They can't handle it. They can't. They. Oh my God! They just saw two people die in very gruesome ways, and younger Aaron is just distraught because her and older Aaron didn't get along, and now she's dead and stuff. And but the other girl tell she died a hero and she saved us and stuff. KJ has had it. KJ's like, screw this, we're home. I'm going home. I'm quitting the paper route and I'm gonna live a normal life. And so as they're all walking, they realize something. They realize it's 4th of July. It wasn't 4th of July when they left, so they find a newspaper. During the year 1999, Larry lied to them, never sent them back home, and sent them to the year he wanted to go. Now all the girls are furious at him. So the girls can't believe they're in the year 1999. They have no idea what they want to do, but they're hungry and they're starving, and they need a place to sleep. So something happens. This is the part about the whole period. Now remember, a guy wrote this comic book and stuff. Before I get into that, let me just say that in the comic books, there is no Larry. And Aaron doesn't pilot no giant robot machine and all this other stuff. And she doesn't sacrifice herself. When it comes to Aaron in the comics, she does meet older Aaron, but she also meets clones of Aaron. There are 3 clones, and the clones send the girls through time but separately and stuff, so they're like in pairs and stuff. It's a very complicated comic, 30 issues, remember that. But there are no clones in this show. Anyway, that's the period. So Aaron tells Mac, hey, I need you to steal something from me. They go to like a convenience store, and Mac steals, I don't think they're tampons, because Mac didn't know what to get because she hasn't had her period yet. None of the girls have had their period. Now remember, a guy wrote this comic book, and this is in the comic, but I think it's KJ that has her period and not Mac. Not Mac, but not Aaron and stuff. But anyway, so this goes on for about 3 to 6 minutes. I'm just gonna say 6 minutes. This goes on for 6 minutes. It gets very detailed and graphic. You basically gonna get like some information you don't want to hear. Now, Matt tells her, I didn't know what to get you, but I didn't want to get you those type of tampons that look like diapers. So I got you this stick thing with the string attached to it. I forget what that's called, but yeah. So she's all like, how do I use this? She's like, I don't know. She's all like, for people with a heavy flow or irregular. And so Mac is probably like, I can't remember which one Mac said. Mac said, I think I might have a heavy flow or I'm irregular, something like that. But she has no idea. So they're like, it has to have instructions. So they go inside, they find the instructions. There's when things get very graphic. She's all like, how do I get this thing in me and how do I get it out? They explain in detail how you stick that thing up in the woman and how you get it out. And they're just like, ew. And terrified. And then Mac's all like, I'll get you the diaper. But Mac doesn't come back with it. And Aaron's now in the restroom trying to put that thing up in her. Boy, I tell you. Well, anyways, they're trying to figure out where they can sleep. She said every 4th of July, her family goes like on vacation to some swanky rich place. That, of course, causes Matt to make fun of her again and be rude to her and stuff. But they're like, all right, fine, it's a plan. Your house will be empty. Well, as soon as they go there, it's not empty. Apparently, at some point in time, when KJ's and them when KJ got older and stuff, her family stopped going on vacation, and now they host like neighborhood block parties and stuff. So everybody's at their place. So the girls are kind of like, you know what? We need to get some supplies and we need to eat. And there's plenty of rich food in there, so let's go. KJ don't want to go, but all the girls go. And so at some point, KJ decides to go too, but she's scared of seeing her older self. Now here's the interesting thing. When KJ was in the year 2019, oh, by the way, in the comics, they go to different timelines. They go to 2016, and I think 2020 in another year. And they also go through other time periods too. So anyway, KJ did not want to look herself up in 2019. She said whatever life her family made for her, she knows is going to be miserable and everything because she has to do everything her parents say. And so that was kind of weird. So anyways, while the girls are all in the house eating and having comedic relief time and stuff like that and some more bonding time, KJ has decided she's going to go to her old room. But there's a woman in her old room. And so the woman turns out to be KJ's friend at college. So they talk a little bit and KJ realizes, wait, when she got older, she didn't go to the college she thought she was going to go to. She went to a college and learned about film school and stuff, which is kind of weird. She never thought she'll be into that. Well, the older KJ's friend is all like, yeah, there's going to be like a movie marathon. You should go, blah, blah. So younger KJ leaves, but then she spies on her older self. It turns out that older KJ is a lesbian. To the shock and dismay and disgust, younger KJ is. And everything. She cannot believe she is a lesbian. But here's the thing. She knew she was just kind of like in denial and wasn't really sure. Like she's had feelings, but she didn't know how to act out on it and stuff. And so her disgusted look later turns into like just a blank stare. Because she literally almost fell back when she saw herself kissing another girl. And so she realizes she is a lesbian. Now, I had a feeling she might be because when she was looking for Mac at Dylan's house, she was talking to Dylan's wife. And Dylan's all like, oh, you have a lovely girlfriend and stuff. She's like, oh, no, we're not girlfriends. We're just friends that just happen to be girls. And I just thought, okay, maybe that's just like an 80s thing or whatever. But I'm like, she does play sports, which is nothing. But, you know, sometimes you never know. And so, yes, she is, in fact, a closeted lesbian. And she has no idea how she's going to deal with that. Anyway, she meets up with the rest of the girls and they hightail it on out of there. Tiffany has contacted her older self on the phone because she figured she needed help. And so now that's where they're headed to go. They're going now to Tiffany's place. Well, Aaron is teasing that KJ's all like, I saw your older self and you can't believe what I saw. And she's like, you better not tell nobody. Well, she thinks that she saw them kiss, but no, she just saw like her older self getting hit on by like a guy and stuff. And so Mac was making fun of her too and being rude. And out of nowhere, KJ decks Mac in the nose, bloodied up and stuff. So now Mac is even more pissed at KJ and thinks she's psycho and stuff. So when the two Tiffanys meet, older Tiffany is different. Let's just say that. Now, younger Tiffany can't pick up on it, but I could tell straight up. Older Tiffany is more of a free spirit. She dyed her hair blue. She hosts rave parties at a club and everything. And, you know, and Tiffany's just all shocking, like, oh my God, like, and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But she can't pick up on it yet for some bizarre reason. She's in too much, like, happiness. Now, older Tiffany, for some reason, just believes straight up, okay, you're my younger self, time travel. Sure, fine, whatever, cool. I'm just like, how are you so cavalier about that? Well, Mac nose is still bleeding, so what does Aaron do? Shove the tampon up it so it can absorb the blood. Anyway, they go back to older Tiffany's place and they sleep there and everything. And then, so upset, KJ decides to leave in the morning. So when she goes to the movie theater and she sees her older self and her girlfriend holding hands in the movie and stuff. So then she confronts she confronts the girlfriend. And she's not rude. She just kind of like, I saw you, well, she pretended to be KJ's cousin. Like, I saw you with my cousin, and I was like, how did you know you were ready to see those kind of movies? She's trying to be like coy about it. And so the college girlfriend, she's like, well, sometimes it just happens at different times with different people, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just know when you know and everything. And they had a good, heartfelt, like, conversation and stuff, and it helped ease the mind of a younger KJ and stuff. Because younger KJ, like, she had those feelings, but she had no idea that's what she was and stuff. And so now she's able to come to terms with who she is. Now, it's different in the comic. She touches the device that scans her and she sees images of her older self making out with a girl. And that's how she knows she's a lesbian. I'm glad they made changes to the show because some things in the comic is just a little too weird. And so she has feelings, of course, for Mac and everything. And in the comics, she lets Mac know. Mac hates this and becomes homophobic to her. But then at some point, they become friends and they even kiss and everything. And so she heads back to, like, to talk to, like, the real Mac and everything from the show. And so Mac is upset. And as they're talking and everything, she's still pissed about getting punched in the nose, but they have a heart-to-heart conversation all about Mac. Mac tells her, I'm dead. Like, she tells about the cancer and everything, and she's all like, all y'all got to live y'all lives as adults, and I got to live in the grave and everything. And it's a huge emotional scene because we get to hear Mac pour her heart out, you know what I'm saying, making her sympathetic. Now, we got to see her sympathetic before when KJ had to take her back on that motorcycle and leave Dylan and stuff because, the evil lady was coming after them. And Mac just cried on the way back home and everything. And so those two decide they're going to go and look at Mac's grave. And Mac can't believe it. She's buried next to some of her family members and stuff. And and like she just can't believe she's dead. And not only that, but there's no date. There's only a year from when she was born and when she died. And she's all like, her dad didn't even spring to put like the month she was born and the month she died. And KJ's kind of like, look, man, we know you're gonna die like 4 or 6 years from now. We can try to prevent this. Like, they have cures and medicine, not cure, but they have like medicines and chemo. And if you catch it early, you might be able to stop it and stuff. And you need to start eating healthy and stop all that smoking and stuff. Well, at some point in time, they see Mac's stepmother and she's grieving over the grave and put flowers there. This is to Mac's surprise. She didn't know that her stepmother loved her that much. But she gets spotted, takes off running. The stepmother drives in the car, chases them down, but they hide. Mac is beside herself. She had no idea her stepmother loved her so much. Before all this had even happened, we get to meet the bad guy and everything, called, I think, the grandfather or grandmaster. It's both. One's one of, I think, the grandfather is in the comic and grandmaster is in like the show. He's this scraggly haired dude and who's a hipster and very comedic. And I'm just like, that's weird. I bet you anything the actor just didn't want to cut his hair. Now, him and the evil lady, they're actually a couple in the comics, but not here. So anyway, she finds them and everything. And next thing you know, so let's get into Tiffany now. Tiffany is watching her graduation and all happy and excited and everything. And older self is this kind of like, that's a fake speech and that's a fake girl you're looking at. She's like, what are you talking about? You're smart. You're brilliant. You went to MIT. Like, you're gonna do some amazing things when, in 2019. And she's all like, we need to have a talk. And she has a heart to heart with her younger self. And basically she tells her, she realizes this was all a facade. She likes being this free spirit. She doesn't like going to like all these colleges and doing all this smart stuff. She's still smart today and stuff. And she realizes she's been living a lie and everything. And then younger Tiffany's like, what are you talking about? And blah, 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 blah. And who's this dude you be like messing with and stuff? And cause he's just like an idiot. Like her boyfriend, older Tiffany's boyfriend is a literal idiot and stuff. And so older Tiffany's getting mad because her younger self's getting rude. And she's all like, you're adopted. And Tiffany, you're a lie. And Tiffany like, nope, that is not your real mother and stuff. And not our real mother. And not only that, but I dropped out of MIT and everything. But then after another heart to heart, she tells her, I didn't get dropped out. I didn't drop out. I got kicked out of MIT and everything. And she basically became like a failure in life. And that's when she started partying too hard and, and started doing like the rave stuff because she's just a failure in life and everything. And so, like, younger Tiffany is just like pissed and tells her, I hate you and everything. You ruined our lives with all this partying and smoking and all this other crap. And all older Tiffany wants to do is just listen to music and dance. And younger Tiffany's like, you're an idiot and everything. Now, in the comics, older Tiffany marries a goth dude. And, that's just some stuff I haven't even gotten into yet. But she already knew she was adopted because she comes from an interracial family, a white dad and a black mother and stuff. So this is really hard for younger Tiffany to take in that, she's adopted and all this other stuff. And she dropped out of MIT. And so basically young Tiffany tells her, look, we create in this a college and everything when you get older and stuff. And older Tiffany is just kind of like, oh God, you know what I'm saying? And, because she can't believe it. So anyways, after their heart to heart, they go and they find Larry because the younger girls want to go home. Well, they're still pissed at Larry and everything. And so Larry has no idea what they're talking about because this Larry is just a new recruit. So he hasn't done all that stuff in the future. And in fact, the robot's not even there yet. He hasn't built it yet. And so she shows him the book with all the time travel logs and everything like that. So him, her, and older Tiffany, they start coming up with some theories and this and that and stuff. And they figure some stuff out. The only time they can travel now back in time is 6 years from now. This pisses the girls off because they don't want to stay there for 6 more years and stuff. But that's the next time the time portal is going to open up and everything. And so they're upset, he's upset, and then at some point in time, when he's at his farm, a time rift opens up and stuff just starts popping out. But it's stuff from 1988 that only revolves around the girls. Their bicycles, newspapers, the walkie-talkies. So he goes and he finds them, but he finds Aaron. And Aaron doesn't want nothing to do with him, but she goes anyway. And so he shows her like everything that's going on. He calls his friend that got erased in like the future and stuff. So both Tiffany's, they go and they meet up and they can't believe what it is. And so they start doing some calculations here and there. And they realize a time rift has opened up. This is causing a disturbance. And the old watch is going to show up and everything. Why? Because the old watch sent in a drone that found them and stuff. So now they have to get ready for a fight. And so the other girls have like shown up and stuff like that. And Mac has told KJ, don't you tell nobody I'm dying and stuff. Well, so Tiffany and the other lady, they find the walkie-talkies. And Tiffany tells her, this is the walkie-talkies your friend stole from us. And they're like, wait a minute, we can communicate with them through time. I don't know how. This is just, sometimes in this show it gets a little weird and don't make no sense. So anyway, they try to talk to him and the guys finally respond back, but it's not the guys. It's the message the girl sent from 1988. See, When they was on the walkie-talkies, Matt told the dudes, we're gonna beat your behinds, and that's the message they got in the future in 1999. So they realized no matter what they do, this has already happened before. So they can't cure Mac and everything. And everything's in a time loop. So when the girls were in 1988, all this stuff has already happened before, and everything's just looping around and stuff, which don't make no sense because, okay, older Aaron and Tiffany has literally told the girls, we have no memory of all this stuff happening. And this is the thing about time travel stuff I can't stand. Once you're taking out of time, then technically you should not be present in the past and living your life out. But that's how it is with all these time travel shows and movies. It has happened to Justice League Unlimited, Star Trek, Lightyear, Back to the Future, and that's never made no sense. She finds Mac first. And when she does, Mac has decided, maybe y'all aren't the bad guys, because she tells KJ they're going to send us back to our time and just erase our memories. So what's the point? You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So Mac is on board, but KJ's not. And then they meet the other girls and stuff. No, they haven't met the other girls yet. My bad. Larry shows up and he tries to kill the dinosaur. Yes, a dinosaur pops out of nowhere, a pterodactyl. Why? Because, okay, this is the thing about the comics. In the comics, there are dinosaurs and other kind of monsters. They couldn't afford to do that for the show, so they just had a giant robot and the one dinosaur. It's weird. It takes you out of place. They should just left it out. Well, Grandmaster Father dude, he orders the dinosaur to eat Larry. And because it is... he can control it somehow. I don't know how. They don't explain how. Then we start seeing some people get erased. Larry's friend got a blooped and everything. This is her second time, and now she got a blooped 10 years earlier. Larry dies 10 years earlier. So now the timeline is getting messed up. So younger Tiffany gives older Tiffany the book, writes on there, because they figured out that Tiffany helps create time travel in the future and stuff. She writes it on the book, and then we see Tiffany get a blooped. What it is that the purplish pink light picks you up in the sky and it erases your memory. And so the girls, they go back in like the house, and then the evil lady's talking to them, and so is the bad guy, and he convinces them, look, we can send you back to your own time and everything and stuff. And, everything will be all right and stuff. You just have your memories wiped. And he explains to Mac and KJ, this is how time works and why we do what we do. He tells them, like, look at your mixtape. He starts pulling the strings out of the tape out. He's all like, every time time gets altered and stuff, it's like recording over a recording. It gets diluted and stuff like that until suddenly it pops and then everything like that. So he's all like, this is why we do what we do, to preserve like everything, right? Well, after some chasing here and there, they finally get themselves up in solidarity, holding hands and say, all right, they'll do it. But, first KJ's like, can't you just take us to the future and heal that of like Matt? Because like, she has cancer and stuff like that. Well, they're not going to do it. And then they start getting into an argument where they all like, we don't believe you, send us back and all this other stuff. So then he takes them back to like their time to erase their memories and stuff. So now they're in a holding cell. So KJ now finds out that she killed that lady's brother. When they're in the holding cell, she takes Tiffany, but the girls won't let her. Oh, by the way, Mac has already now just revealed that she has cancer. Anyway, all of a sudden, the evil lady turns good and so like, I want to help y'all out. And she starts telling them what happened in the future. She said that how like the STF people are trying to prevent them from like what they're doing. And when she was like 12, she joined like the old watch and everything, and all this war stuff started breaking out and blah, 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 blah. And then she starts telling her about older Tiffany. Older Tiffany helps out this scientist and they create time travel and stuff. Now in the comic, Tiffany, like I said, is not smart. And she just plays video games. And she's mad at her older self because her older self just plays video games. And so there's another scientist guy who actually creates time travel, but he is nowhere to be found in this show. There's a couple other characters who don't appear either. So she's gonna send them to the far future to help Mac out, and also something to. And she wants them to go back and stop, I guess, younger Tiffany from creating time travel. So all this stuff will have never happened. Nobody would have to be going back in time and trying to fix crap and all this other crap, you know. Well, one of the guards come in and he shoots the evil lady. She already set the coordinates, and there's a pod time machine. Two of the girls get in, but two of them run out because Aaron uses the bugs to heal up the evil lady and save her life. But how does Aaron know? Because the bugs are inside a tube, and they don't look like bugs inside the tube. So how the world does she know that? But anyway, she saves her. Time ran out. They run back, and now it's KJ and Mac. They are now sent through time, and when and where, nobody knows. So then the lady, she's back alive, and she sets another time pod, and then the other two get in. Well, she sends them to time, but here's the thing. When they go through time, they are either between the year 1950 or 1970. Can't quite tell. Online it says 1950, but another site says 1970, so nobody really knows. The cars don't look like 1950s. They might be in the 1960s. Which is a bad time for a black and Chinese girl to be in that time period. So grandfather, he kills the evil lady and all this other crap, and now he wants to know what year the girls have been sent to. Now in the comics, those two are a couple, and when she dies in the comic, he's heartbroken. But these two don't date in the show. So I still wish more things were explained in this show. Especially, like, I know they wanted to get to like a second season, but there are some things that could have been explained in like the first, like why those two guys decided to take the girls into the future. We still don't know yet why the girls decided to go with them. Was it because Aaron was shot, and maybe the guys said they have technology that could save them, but they didn't go to their own time period. They only went to 2019 and stuff. And you know, like, who released the bugs that saved Aaron? We like still don't know, you know. Why did the evil lady all of a sudden turn really nice towards the end? Because it's kind of like, you know, she hated KJ. She wanted to kill her and all the rest of them. But then all of a sudden, when she found out who Tiffany was, she wanted to, like, you know, stop all this from happening. But like, why didn't she just, like, I don't know, like I don't know, like, it's some things that just aren't explained, you know. Then I still don't understand why a giant robot would be like a time machine, and why they would use it for like a war and stuff like that. And we never saw this war. It would have been nice to see part of it and stuff. Unless the war is more like a skirmish. Also, where are more of the STF like members and stuff? And why are they so like scattered thin? Why in the world in the show did they make the main bad guy a hipster and everything, you know? Like, that don't make no sense. And they didn't really explain, if you take the girls out of one timeline, how is it that they still exist in that timeline doing things and have like a life and everything like that? I know they did the same thing in Back to the Future, but that was written back in the 80s, and this is written like now, you know? And I don't understand, with all the changes they make in the timeline, how come things aren't like shifted and affected, and what's up with that time rift? So it's kind of like some things would nice to be like explained instead of like banking on that of a second season, you know? Also, why doesn't the illusion work for the girls like it does for everybody else, but not for them? Is it because they're in the building? Is it because of their age? Like, what's the world going on, you know? Now, in the comic, they all do get their memory wiped after like 30 issues or so. And when everything's like all said and done, the girls all do get their memory wiped. But when they're back in their own time, they re-see each other and they rebuild their friendship, not knowing who they are, because, you know, that's just how they were going to do it anyway. I guess they just have common interests that they like, you know. And so like they all decide to like spend like one night together. Not like that. And and just like hang out and be friends, you know? And so it's kind of like that was interesting. I wonder if the show's gonna do anything like that. Also, if Mac is so mean and racist and all this other stuff and homophobic, why in the world are they friends with her and stuff? Like, I don't understand that. And it's like, if Mac is cured of cancer, does that mean her brother won't like turn like his life around and stuff? So it's kind of like, what are they gonna do with that? It ends on a cliffhanger. The girls are now separated in pairs. Nobody knows KJ's a lesbian. And now the other two girls are stuck in a very racist period in time. And so this is really fascinating. So, 'cause this is what happens, like I said, in the comments. They do go to different time periods, but separately and everything. And I kind of wish they didn't, because in the show, I like how they're a team. I like how they're together and everything. And, you know, like they have a bond, a sisterhood bond. And, you know, I'm really glad I checked this show out. It is amazing and stuff. I just still couldn't believe everything that happened, how good this show is and stuff. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.